Hi everyone! Today we will talk about the public charge rule that applies to new immigrants, and we will discuss whether or not sponsored immigrants can qualify and receive Medicaid or medi-cal in California, food stamps and other public benefits. I will also talk about eligibility for Covered California in California and tell you whether or not the advanced premium tax credits are allowed for new immigrants. Right from the start, I want to disclose that I am not an attorney and the information given in this video is not legal advice. So please reach out to your immigration attorney for details or specifics on this topic. If you have a general question, please post it under the video. If you have something to add, also, please use the opportunity and ask your question in the comments below. So let's start with the basics. In January of 2020, Trump administration implemented new policies that make it harder for low and moderate income people to receive permanent residence or a green card or some visas if they are subject to a public charge test. The law is a bit confusing, and even though this is absolutely not news that if you are a US citizen and you are sponsoring your relative to come to the US, you are basically guaranteeing that your relative will not become homeless and applying for all sorts of benefits using the taxpayers' money. So this is not new, right? Let's say that you are a US citizen and you would like to file an immigration petition for your parents who live in a foreign country so they can live with you in the United States and get their green cards. When you apply for their green cards, you have to sign an immigration form that is called Affidavit of Support. This form is basically a contract between you and the US government. By signing this form, you have to prove that as a sponsor, you have enough income and or assets to maintain the intended immigrants and the rest of the household. Under this contract, you agree that you will support your relatives and they will not become a public charge. If your parents apply for medi-cal or other means-tested benefits, you, as a sponsor, are responsible for repaying the cost of these benefits to the agency that provided them. If you do not repay the debt, the agency can sue you in court to get the money owed to them. So, honestly, the consequence could be quite severe for the sponsor. In this case, if the sponsor fails to support the immigrant relative and the relative eventually gets the means-tested benefits, here you go, you're in trouble. Even though this is not news, until now the use of most public benefits was not a barrier to legal status in the United States. However, applications for adjustment of status submitted after February 24, 2020 are subject to the strict rules, and everyone applying for green card or filing a petition with the USCIS should learn the facts and play by the rules. Keep in mind that public charge is ground of inadmissibility. Grounds of inadmissibility are reasons that a person could be denied a green card, visa, or admission into the United States. So public charge does not apply to all immigrants, right? This law mainly impacts those seeking permanent residence status through family member petitions. And many immigrant categories are exempt from the public charge ground of inadmissibility, even if they might be applying for status or a green card. U visa holders, T visa holders, asylees, refugees, and many more categories are exempt from this rule. Public charge laws do not apply in the naturalization process through which lawful permanent residents apply to become US citizens. So that's also interesting. The new policies consider cash aid like SSI, TANF, and general assistance, as well as federally funded Medicaid called medi-cal in California, with certain exceptions. Food stamps, CalFresh, whatever. And federal public housing or Section 8 housing assistance, it's also on this list. Let's see if legal immigrants can receive or apply for a Covered California health plan. Well, health insurance plans provided via Covered California are not on the list of means-tested benefits. That is because Covered California is not a public benefit. Covered California is a platform where people can get private health insurance plans at a lower cost in California. Subsidies available via Covered California are strictly based on taxable income. So if you are a new immigrant and apply for subsidized health plans via Covered California, you will not have to repay it back as long as the income included in the application is correctly entered. The key word is correctly entered. Make sure you estimate your income accordingly. Well, it makes sense if you are an immigrant and you are working hard and paying taxes, you have an absolute right to access the tax subsidies available via Covered California if you qualify, right? Again, it's very important to correctly estimate the annual household income and include the taxpayer's spouse, if any, and any child or dependent of the taxpayer who is required to file a tax return. If you are a petitioner or sponsor and you include your newly sponsored immigrant relatives on your tax return as a dependent, then obviously your total household income is counted when deciding the eligibility for advanced premium tax credits available via Covered California. So if your income is quite high, obviously your relatives won't qualify for any subsidies, right? So for lawful permanent residents who are seeking health insurance coverage through Covered California, there is no waiting period or 5-year bar, which is different from the Medicare eligibility for those who are 65 of age or older. Okay, thank you everyone for your time. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our videos. This way you will be the first one to access our newly released videos, and I will see you next time.